So conjugates have the exact same first part, but they have opposite second parts. Not to be confused with opposites, because opposites would have everything completely opposite of each other. Something nice is going to happen when we multiply these things together. That will not happen if you're not multiplying conjugates together. Okay, so I'm going to do this question 3 different ways, and I'm going to use the space up here in question 1 to do it. The first way I'm going to do this question will look like elementary school. I'm going to multiply these 2 things together. And as you can see, I'm lining them up just like we did in elementary school with 1s and 10s. And when you take radical 3 times negative radical 3, what do you get?
3. Radical 3. Right? No, it cancels out, right?
Okay, that's true. And I'll show you why. Because what you truthfully get is negative radical 9. Now, what is negative radical 9? That is negative 3. But you are exactly right that the radicals canceled each other out. That's true. When I multiply radical 3 times 2, what do I get? And this is just like we did in elementary school. We would slide over and multiply. So what is radical 3 times 2? That's just plain old 2 radical 3. Can't do anything with that. Notice that I wrote it in the next column over. What about when I take this one and multiply times, so 2 times negative radical 3? It's negative 2 radical 3. Notice that I put it in the column with the radical 3. This is what we did in elementary school. We put our like values in like columns so we could add at the end. Lastly, I have 2 times 2. What is that?
4.
And notice where I put it, in the like column. So, what do you get when you add 2 radical 3 and negative 2 radical 3? You get 0. They add up to nothing. They're gone. Close. We get positive 1. What I really want you to realize is that the radicals cancel out. This only happens when you're talking about conjugates. It's the only time it's going to happen. Okay, now I'll do another way. Okay, so same question, but I'm going to do it a different way. Yeah, I do want you to write them down, and then I want you to pick your favorite way. Definitely not? You know what? Some people like it, some people hate it. When I go to the grocery store, foil comes in a box, so that's why I like it. Oh, you don't? Okay. Nice.
So you can't
Wait,
I don't use nothing.
Okay. Sorry, I just recorded that. 2 times 2, what do we got for that top left box? 4. Okay. 2 times negative radical 3. The reason I like the box is because people don't have a tendency to lose information. 2 times radical 3.
2 radical 3.
And negative radical 3 times positive radical 3.
Negative 9.
Negative radical 9, also known on the street as negative 3. In this particular method, you could see that those 2 are going to cancel out. And you're going to be left with 4 minus 3. And 4 minus 3 is positive 1. Okay, so that's method number 2. The last method that we can do is more of, a drone strike type of method. Things like this. Firsts, outsides, insides, lasts. They use this acronym to try to help me understand. I do the first, then I do the outsides, then I do the insides, and the lasts. The firsts give me 4. The outsides give me 2 radical 3. The insides give me, oops, sorry, that was a negative 2 radical 3. Whoops. The insides give me positive 2 radical 3. And the lasts give me just plain old negative 3. So, yes, these two are going to cancel out, and I have 4 minus 3, which is 1. Do you understand that I really just want you to pick a way that you like to do this question? I really don't care which way you like. I will try to be as flexible as I can and show you different. We're going to practice more and more of this stuff. So guess what? If you do it differently than your neighbor does, it's okay. But I may have to walk over to your desk if you're stuck and can't figure out where your mistake is. Okay? Pick your favorite method on question 9, and then we'll go back to ones on the first page. Pick your favorite. You can see that these are conjugates of each other. Pick your favorite method. I don't care which one it is, whether you want the elementary school version, the box method, or drawing the arrows. It's up to you. But number 9. You have a preferred method that you like. So set them up, one over the top of the other one.
I'm kidding.
Radicals cancel out. So positive times the negative.
I'm married.
Draw a line like I did. Put the negative 11 on the back. I'll take that one.
Oh my god, it's stuck. Oh my god, it's stuck.
Oh, you're supposed to have it.
All I'm doing is matching up.
That's what I thought.
Overdoing it.
Do it.
Yeah, me too. I thought. Because it's like, it takes a
Yeah, I know.
Here,
the book
like,
too.
put those
Yeah.
things underneath those, and then you add down the comments. It's just gonna be one round. You're using the box. Negative, not
But it works.
so that's a positive.
And there was some now we're
It just
It's actually negative radical 1 but that's
you never told me
Oh. I was like, that's what I was like.
No, like,
Question.
Oh, you're
Find
going
out.
Okay, so either the answer is a negative or a negative. So.
Positive 7. Okay, so now you're doing this 4 times that much. So it's a positive 9 times a positive radical 11. Okay, let's just do this one first. So wouldn't that be 9 radical 11? So put plus 9 radical 11. Okay, then do the 2 on the inside. So it's going to be a negative number, so one's positive and one's negative. So that's a negative 9 radical 11. Yeah, it's negative radical 11 times positive. It's obviously got to be a negative number. Where's negative? Where's positive? Okay, negative. Where do we come 21? What is that? That's 11. We know it's negative, so we've got this. Notice how those two cancel. There's 81, take away 11. Okay, which method did you choose? Okay, so start with the firsts. So you will start like this. 9 times 9. I don't know, we'll find out. Did you get 70? You're right. That's 81. Then you just keep going, right?
When you add the negative radical 11 and the positive radical 11, what does it become?
When you multiply,
Yeah, does it become
becomes it becomes negative square root 121, which is equal to negative 11.
That's what I
Okay, so now, so you did the firsts and the outsides. Now you got to do the insides and the lasts. So the insides would be,
81 minus 11.
yes,
9 radical 11.
all right, one's positive, okay, and then when you multiply the last together, that's where you get this part down here at the bottom, which is just negative 11, because the 121 is a perfect square. Do any of those things cancel out?
Yep.
All right, what? The radical things, yes, they do. So what is 81 take away 11? Okay, if you got 70 for this answer, you are correct. Now, obviously, I only chose one of the methods because I was helping somebody. If you cannot find your mistake right now, I would like to come help you. Is there anybody who can't find their mistake in their work and needs... I mean, if you didn't get it, I want to make sure you get it. Okay, let's go back to that first page. Question 3. Okay, pick your favorite method and solve. Number 3. I'm kind of worried about what you're going to get for the lasts, so we'll see. Mom, you can't use that computer the right way.
I can.
Well,
It does get distracted
well then shut it if it's really a problem. You know that about yourself. Come on. So, I guess.
I'm not doing the box.
Sometimes different.
So start with the bottom right. Multiply this one, then look over here. This one, then this. Just like you didn't know. Oh, you see it? Okay. Basically, it just looks like this. That, then you switch to the bottom left, so the bottom right.
I was trying to get to the chase.
First and second or senior. One of those down below. We got to figure out which one they are.
I mean, part of
Do the ones you know you can do. Even if you get stuck, like for instance, I left one of those boxes open because I don't know what people are going to put in there. And I wanna see. So far, you're doing well. Keep going. If you need to draw the arrows, then do what I suggested and draw all the arrows. That way, you know you've got all the combos.
I'm assuming it's
0 is not true.
So how
Negative 10, radical 3.
So like how am I bro, 25 plus. I just wish I did all I'm done past I know. I had
but then I second
The reason I left that box open is because in a minute I'm going to go talk to everybody about the out for that. Because that's the part of it. And it would actually be, I would think it was negative 10. And then you've got this 3 going on.
should have
So we multiply negative 2 radical times radical 3. It actually multiplies so what I'm hoping is
makes that stuff
now I'll multiply that.
Okay, so, Mr. Stailey,
Yes.
would the other number be negative 10 radical 3 too? The missing number?
It'd actually be negative 10 radical 9.
Oh, because you're adding the radical.
You're multiplying them.
No, I was waiting. He was like, I got this right here.
Yeah, so what? That's the part we need to talk about. Okay. All right, folks. I purposely left the bottom right corner of this box open because I think that's the most difficult part of this whole thing. Okay? Most of you were able to do the other 3 pretty okay. What do you get when you multiply this thing and this thing together? Oh, yeah, it is frozen. That's true. Okay? When you multiply those 2 in the red boxes together, negative 10 radical 9. Now, what is that really? Isn't that negative 10 times something else? 3. So what is negative 10 times 3? So in this bottom corner, I was hoping that you would have a negative 30. And if you need to do it in those 2 steps that I wrote below, that's okay. Nothing wrong with that at all. Now I need to add like terms. So what do we get when we add 25 and negative 30? We get a negative 5. And what do we get when we add 25 radical 3 minus 10 radical 3? 15 radical 3. So there's my final answer to this question. One like it, sure. But you get to use your nose. So hopefully you wrote things down, just like I did. Yes, sir?
Okay. So see how those are like terms and you can add them together? That's where we came up with the 15 radical 3. See, I think it would help you if you would actually think about it like this, like I wrote, negative 10 times 3. And then I would actually make that negative 30. But notice how that's a like term to this one? So those two can be added, and these two can be added. What if those were added? See, I didn't take my step in. This part right here is negative 5, part of my answer. This part is my 15 radical 3, because you got 25 of these things, and you take it to 10.
Hey, you lied to me.
I did not lie to you.
Okay. I'm going to skip question 5. It's a great question, but the way they have done it takes a little bit more work, and I'm not going to include this on your test. Okay?
Thank you. Also, that looks
What was that? I don't know what that was about. Oh, yes. Okay. Pick your favorite method and do it. Let's go. Gotta practice.
No, I didn't realize. I didn't read and I know 11 on 5 is a kid out of time, but I just forgot that was your
Pick your favorite method for question 7 and go. Whichever way you like to do it, it doesn't matter to me.
Ooh, I like this. Now, what is that? What is the square root of 4? 2 times negative 30.
34.
It's 3 full. Okay, all right. Write that down. That is a like term of this. So these two can actually be added together. These two can be added together.
And that will be your answer. Good. Good.
I need like yeah, I need like a crown bigger.
No, that's wrong.
You Stailey, so long as you put a turbo on your
That sounds like that would use a lot of fuel.
well, yeah. You get an extra 9 to 100 horsepower, so 64. Just need to get a good turbo.
I did my bad system. It's so busy.
It's okay. It's all right. You put negative 28, so minus 4 right here. Good. Good job.
Oh, no, that's right.
What's negative 32? Now I know like terms.
Wait, so this right here, you got it.
He wasn't saying that.
I did that for my
This is, oh, so that should be 32 radical 2. So these should be like, that's 32 radical 2. These I can add together. These I can add together.
But how do you use this before though? Well, how do
I
you
just showed you.
How do you use by adding
Okay, so you had a 4 and you had an 8 and a negative 4. That created the negative 32. Then you had radical 2 times radical 2, that created the radical 4. You told me that that could be simplified into whole number 2. Then I could multiply it times that part to get the negative 64.
Oh, so that.
So I multiplied this one times this one. Okay, I got negative 32 on the first part. And then I got radical 4 on the second part. Okay. Well, I know, so I'm just saying, does it make sense how it's negative 32? Okay. Is setting the problem up like this confusing to you or kind of like this? Okay. All right, so let's just stick with this one. You multiply negative 4 and 8 together. Does it make sense? That's part right there. Okay. Well, now we have radical 2 times radical 2. So really, you're focused on this part first. All I'm doing is multiplying this times this. That's where this radical 4 came from. But I know if this is squared, this is just plain old 2. And then I know what negative 32 times 2 is. Negative 64. So, did I have to write this thing here? I could have just written negative 64, but at first, I didn't even know that's what it was. And then I started crossing by the next red arrow.
No, I
I
didn't.
like these two.
I like to get those better because
That's where I got this. And then I did the blue arrows for the bottom two.
You got negative 28, right?
and then it's like everywhere.
Why did you
Okay, great question just came up, and I've had it asked twice, so I'll just show it to you. Two different people have asked me, is it okay if I write my answer like this? And that is completely correct. I do not care whether you write it like that or like this. Either one is acceptable.
Where did you get negative 4 radical?
Where did I get negative 4 radical 2? Okay, right here, when you added those two things together. In your box, you had both of those, and so you just had to add them together. They're like radicals. We talked about adding like radicals the other day, and the radical 2 part stays the same, so you just have to focus on the first coefficient. And that's where we get the negative 4 from. Okay, so let's find another one. Okay, question 8. Flip over to question 8. What does it mean to square something? What does it mean to square something? Multiply it by itself. Now, before we do this question, I want to show you, and I don't want you to write this down, I want you to look at the screen. I want to show you exactly what I get, which is completely wrong for those people who are not paying attention to what we're talking about now. Here's what I get when I see this problem. Oh, well, that's 64, and let's see, radical 6 times itself, that would be 6. So I get 70. Wrong answer. Okay? If it will help you, ignore that little square and then write down the same thing next to it so that you understand that you are multiplying at times itself. And now, pick your favorite method. Whether you want to draw the arrows or the elementary school or the box, whichever you want. Go. Please make sure you understand that.
Whenever 64 radical 36.
Yeah, you have part of the answer correct, but you need to do the rest of it. Radical 36 is in there, yes, but we know that as 6. You need to do it, yes, instead of just giving me that look. Mm-hmm.
Now that's a radical 36.
Okay, which can be simplified, right? Okay. Yeah, then combine your like terms. Okay, so 70 plus 16 radical 6 was your final answer on this.
Where did you get 70 from? And what did you get 16?
Well, let's see here. These two boxes right here that I connected with the blue add up to 70. And these two boxes, which are like terms, add up to 16 radical 6. So we're just adding the like terms, that's all. So once you fill in that box, you just have to look for the terms that you can add together. Make sense? Well, I mean, you've done the hard part. If you've got that box filled out, you've done the hard part. It's just a matter of combining like terms. And do I have any more down? I'm not going to worry about 12 at the moment. Okay. Rationalizing the denominator. Now, what the heck does that mean? To rationalize the denominator means to get rid of the radical have a good weekend from the denominator. I will abbreviate denominator. It does not mean Denver. Okay, now we actually know how to get rid of radicals The answer is in question 9. What cool pair of numbers will actually get rid of the denominator? What word am I looking for? It's in number 9. Conjugates. Now, the next thing I'm going to write down, I don't want you to write down, but I want you to think. Okay, so I want you to look on screen and think. But don't write that fraction down. Because kids wrote it down last period and then got mad at me. What is 17 divided by 17? 1. Everybody should know that, right? If you multiply a number by 1, what have you done to it? Nothing. You've not changed it at all, right? So if I did multiply by 17 over 17, the value of the original fraction would not be different. Now, it's going to look a lot different, right? Because you're going to have 17 times 3, or 51 on top. And on the bottom, you'd have 17 radical 5 plus 34. It looks different, but it's not different. It's the same value, it just looks weird. Or looks different than the original. I want to pick a value that will make the radical disappear from the bottom. So, I focus my attention on the denominator and I write down the conjugate. Now remember, that's not the same thing as opposite. All we do is change the sign in the middle. And you know, just like I showed you a second ago, if you multiply the bottom of a fraction by something, you must also multiply the top by the same exact thing. Otherwise, you have changed or altered the value of the fraction. Now, the top is going to be pretty easy. What's the top? 3 radical 5 minus 6. Right? So the top's easy. All right? You need to focus your attention on the bottom. And yes, you're going to FOIL it. Or you're going to draw the arrows. You're going to make the box. Or you're going to do your favorite elementary school method. Whichever way you want. Figure out what that denominator is. I want to see your answer and your work before we leave, so don't put that away. Let me see what you have. Get on the bottom. Well, when you say that, what number did you get? Okay, so when you multiplied all that stuff together and you got this thing on the bottom, what in the world did you end up with? What's 2 radical 5 plus negative 2 radical 5? They cancel out. What's 5 minus 4? It's positive 1. One acceptable answer would be this. Somebody might also say, well, could I just write it like this? Sure you could. Because that's a 1. Have a good weekend.